I'm here with the 2022 Hayabusa, and today we're going to be installing the BT Moto velocity stacks. Let's show you guys what they look like here. Number one, this wild design that we came up with. And you can see that kind of fits together like this when we install it. So let's get started. First, we're going to be pulling off the rear seat and the back seat. To do that, take the key, pull off the rear seat, and then there's a couple M bolts here, which I believe are number 5s. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong here, but I believe these are 5s on each side, and this seat kind of pulls up and out, or actually pulls out this way. So I'll show you guys. The seat pulls up like a clamshell out. Next, we'll be taking off this bolt right here. This is a number 4 Allen. And there are a couple push pins. So there's a pin right here. Try to get a good shot of it here. Right there. So what you'll do is you'll push the center of that pin in and you can pull it out. There's one right here, and then there's one, right, my finger is over here too on the inside if you can see it. So there, and then this will pull out. Now we've got the side panels off. What we'll be doing is pulling off this bolt. This side, there is another bolt just like that. I believe they're all for 4s. Let me just double check here. Yep. And then after we pull these out, the top 4 bolts come out of here. Those are also number 4s. And then this whole side piece has a clip here on one side and a clip on the other side, and this whole top mount piece should pull off the motorcycle. Now that you remove these 2 pins here, you're able to safely get the entire cover off of it. Most of this is Velcro. Now what we'll do is remove the 2 tins up front here. Now you can lift the tank up like this, like a clamshell. So now we have the air box exposed here. We're gonna use a Phillips and remove this screw, this screw, this screw, this screw, this screw. Basically any screw that's around this, and this whole entire plastic airbox will come off. Now that you've got this exposed, you want to go ahead and remove these bolts for all the velocity stacks. There's a few on each, just remove all of them. It looks like to be number 5. All right, we pulled off the original stacks here, and now we've actually set in the BT Moto stacks here. You can see how perfectly they fit here. There is no air squeezing in between there. Everything is going into the cylinder. It's perfect. If you want to see exactly what this looks like, you got to make sure that you sink this in, because you can just put it in here. And if you try and set the bolts in just like this, you're going to break the stacks, no problem. You need to make sure you set it in nice and right. It takes a little bit of wiggling, but once you do, it sets in just like this, and the bolts will set in. Use the OEM bolts. If you see there's a little bit of space here, I push this down, it's going to be good. This one, you can see it's not synced in at all. You do not want to push something in like that down, because it will crack and break the stack itself. So make sure you're very careful. Everything will line up perfectly once you're done. Okay, and just to show you guys here, the bolt will go in here, and on here you slide the bolts in. See how I take it in and slide in here? Don't try to put it in from the top. Don't do that. Slide in from the back. Now it's ready to be set into the bike just like that. All right, we've got everything on here and torqued evenly. There will be a little bit of resistance even after you get it in here. There's a little bit of resistance as you're torquing the bolt down. It'll feel like it gets a little bit harder to actually torque it, which is perfectly fine. Just make sure you're lined up with the holes, and it'll suck in a little bit, but make sure that everything's lined up correctly, because if it's not already in the hole and you're trying to torque it down, it will crack the entire assembly. So I can't stress that enough. Other than that, this thing is done. We're gonna put it all back together.